Hi guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to Random Lifestyle Vlog. Today we're going to be testing these two palettes, and these are Huda Beauty Matte Palettes. And I have to say, I've had these for a while now. I initially planned to film this video before we went on holiday, but we were like extremely busy around that time, and I was like, yeah, I just cannot. So these palettes were like literally just like laying there, like waiting for me to finally give them some love, and the time has finally come. Okay, so these are two new £9 palettes from Huda Beauty. They're all matte, and I wasn't really sure whether I should buy them or not because I don't usually do all matte makeup, like all matte eye makeup. But then I thought, you know what, maybe I should just get out of my comfort zone a little bit and just try some different things. So maybe this is not going to be such a bad idea to get them. Initially I wanted to buy this one only, the cool toned one, but then for some reason I just ended up buying both of them. So yeah, here we are. We're going to test both of these today. I'm going to start with the cool matte first because that one seems more exciting to me, and the reason why is that it's a little bit more unique. Like, it feels like I already have the warm tones somewhere in my collection, but these cool tones are actually quite interesting. So this is the packaging, and oh my god, look at these shades, they're just so pretty. So obviously we're going to swatch them first. Okay, I need to put these swatches like quite densely because otherwise the other palette will not fit in. So there you go. And then the last one here. And then the last three shades. This one is pretty much almost invisible on my skin. And there you go. Okay, so I dimmed the light slightly so that you can see the colors better. These are the swatches. I kind of expected them to be a little bit more intense for some reason, I don't know. But it's actually a really pretty selection of shades. So we're going to obviously test it out, but let's go ahead and swatch the warm matte palette, which is this one over here. So we just have swatches out of the way at least. So this is the packaging, like exactly the same design, just different color. And these are the shades. I mean, they're pretty, right? But I feel like I've seen them before. They don't really seem as unique as the ones from the cool toned palette. So let's go. Oh, this one actually swatches beautifully. Okay. So interesting thing about these palettes, the warm one actually seems to be swatching better. That doesn't really mean much, right? Because it's how the shades act on the eyelid, that's the important part, but the swatches seem to be nicer with this one. Look at that. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll have to be able to squeeze 3 more over here. Okay, there you go. So we have the cool toned over here up to there, and then we have the warm toned palette. So far these are definitely a little bit more interesting shades in my opinion. This is more like appealing to me, but these swatches are like much nicer. So we'll see. I mean, I don't have anything against these colors, they're beautiful. It's just like feels like I've had these shades in so many palettes already, so that's why I'm a little bit more drawn towards the cooler tones. Okay, let's go ahead and try the cool tones palette first. I'm just going to kind of like randomly create something simple on my eyes, but try to use as many colors as possible so that, you know, I can like share my opinion with you and my experience. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with this shade over here, the lightest one. I'm just going to try and apply this all over my eyelid. So I'm obviously going to do like one eye with one palette and the other one with the other palette. I'm not really planning on going out today, so you know, that kind of like inconsistent makeup is going to be fine. So this shade on my skin tone is not like particularly visible, but I can see the slight difference in you know, the color of my eyelids, so that's probably as much as you can expect from that. I'm just going to go with a tone, with a color that's a little bit darker. And I'm just going to try and apply this in my crease. Let's see if this is going to show. It's showing slightly, okay? So it's not going to be like super intense if you have like my skin tone. This is going to be just slightly visible, but it's actually really pretty. I like it. Okay, it blends really nicely. So let's go even deeper. I'm going to use this shade over here, and I'm going to apply this on my outer part of my crease and like eyelids here. Do you know what? The first kind of thing that comes to my mind after using like 3 colors here is that these palettes, I'm guessing they're going to be quite great for like beginners. I mean, not only, but like if you're a beginner, if you don't know where to start, these should be really nice. These colors are actually really nicely, like very consistent, so it's going to be like easy to blend them together, but also the quality of the shades is actually really pretty, and then just blend like butter. So so far I'm actually really happy. Obviously we've only tried like 3 shades so far, but let's continue and let's see how the other shades are going to perform. So I'm going to go ahead and use this shade over here on my outer corner as well. So I'm just going to building this color up to like using like darker shades. So this kind of confirms what I just said. These shades just blend beautifully together. They work beautifully together, but they also like have like this really nice formula. It's super easy to blend these. So so far I'm actually really impressed, and I really like these colors. I think this is going to be like so perfect for like spring and summer. It's just so pretty. So let's go even deeper. Let's use this shade over here. This is just such an easy palette to use. I just cannot believe it. It's just so like literally you don't even have to think much about it. You just apply the shades you want and it just blends so nicely. So so far I'm actually really impressed with those like £9 Huda Beauty palettes. I feel like it's a little bit hit or miss. Like these palettes are not made in Italy. The large ones, they're like, whenever I see the large Huda Beauty palette, I'm just buying it straight away. But with the £9 palette, it's a little bit hit or miss. I'm not saying they're bad, but they are, I would say, inconsistent. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue with the lower lash line. I kind of, again, want to try as many shades as possible. So maybe I just go ahead and use these 2 shades, these 2 over here, because I haven't tried them out yet. So I'm going to apply the darker one in the outer corner here, and then obviously the lighter one is going to be applied towards my inner corner. This is just such an easy palette to work with. I just cannot believe. So I think I tested like 7 out of 9 shades over here. The only 2 I haven't tried are these 2 over here, but I think I can safely assume that they're probably going to be consistent with the rest of the palette. And I have to tell you, this one I'm actually really impressed. Let's go ahead and try the warm one. So this palette actually swatched better than the cool toned one, so I'm assuming the quality is going to be just as good, if not better. But I mean, we'll see how I feel about the colors. They're pretty, but is it something I really need in my life? You know what? This palette actually seems a little bit darker than the other one. Even the lightest shade will probably just show on my skin tone a little bit more than the lightest shades in the cool toned palette. So let's go ahead and start with this one over here. This seems to be the lightest shade, and I think definitely you can already see that. So in the cool toned palette, the 2 lightest shades were like barely visible on my skin, whereas here you can easily see that color like straight away. Do you know what? I was actually trying to plan on like where to go next, and it kind of struck me like these 2 shades, they seem actually very similar to each other, like almost like there's almost no difference between them. These 2 are quite similar as well, but this one is obviously darker and like has like more redness in it. But these 2 shades, I'm not really sure. Let me just swatch these 2 shades like next to each other so that we can see how different or similar they are. They are quite similar, aren't they? Like this one is like a little more rusty, but I'm not really sure if there's a point of like putting 2 shades that are so similar in one palette. Anyway, it doesn't really seem to matter like where I go from here. I kind of wanted to use like one of these colors and kind of like build it up with like a deeper shade, but it seems like they're quite close together, so I feel like it's not really going to show that much on my eyelids. So I don't know, let's just go with one of them, and I'll try and maybe like use the other one to build it up, and we'll see if that's going to work. So okay, the pigmentation is actually really lovely here. It's definitely much more intense compared to the cool toned palette. So you can see like pretty much like I just like touch my eyelid with this, and you can already see how pigmented these are. So this is technically the lighter, the less rusty shade out of these 2. I'm just going to try and apply the other one maybe to see if it's any deeper. It is slightly deeper than the other color, but still I don't necessarily feel like these two shades are that much necessary in this palette. Maybe something a little bit more different would look a little bit better here. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, again, we have the same story. These shades like blend together really beautifully, like super easy to use. Okay, let's go ahead, let's try to use this shade now on top of it to see if this is going to add more depth to it. So every shade I'm literally adding to it adds like this extra layer, but it's super easy to blend. And I feel like whatever your idea of makeup is going to be, this is going to be like super easy to work with. So we're just going ahead with this one over here now. And again, I'm just going to apply some more of it here. So just going like deeper with every step. And then we're just going to finish this off with this shade over here, because I can kind of want to see how dark this will go. And this just confirms what I have been saying so far, like these palettes are such amazing palettes for like beginners. They just blend like a dream. So this is going to be like super easy to work with them. So my lower lash line, I'm going to go ahead and use this shade over here and this towards my inner corner. By the way, these two shades over here are actually cream to powder formulation, but this shouldn't worry you too much. These shades are actually designed so that they can be used on top of your like eyeshadows, like powder eyeshadows, so they're going to blend just as nice as the other shades. So let's go ahead and do the lower lash line. And I have to tell you guys, it's just unbelievable, like whatever colors you use, whatever you want to do, it's just going to blend lovely and it's just going to look nice. So as for the quality of these palettes, I'm actually extremely impressed. Let me just finish my makeup with the eyeliner and mascara, and I'll be back with you to share my final thoughts with you. Okay, so I'm back with the finished makeup. I'm just going to show you these up close. So here we have the Cool Matte palette, and here is the Warm Matte palette. So what do I think about these? I mean, first of all, the quality is outstanding. They're actually really lovely for like pigmentation, for blendability. They are super easy to use. If you're a beginner, these are going to be amazing. But even if you're not, you'll probably enjoy them just as much. So if you are to compare them like against each other, you can definitely see that the Warm palette is definitely darker. So this is not only more pigmented, but it's also like generally darker. So if you have like deeper skin tone, the Warm one is probably going to be more suitable for you. The Cool Toned palette has some of these like really light shades that they kind of were barely visible on my skin tone. So I'm assuming for like a deeper skin tones, they're like not really going to show as much, whereas the Warm palette is very pigmented, it's much darker, so this should work really beautifully on deeper skin tones. As much as I love like both of the looks I created, I find the Warm palette a little bit like less exciting. I feel like I have these colors already, and also there are some like almost like repeats. I mean, obviously these colors are different, but there are similarities between some colors, like these two over here, or the dark browns. So there are, I don't think that's necessary, okay? I don't really think that's necessary. They could have like given us some like other colors as well, and maybe in this situation this palette would be a little bit more exciting. So when it comes to the Cool Matte palette, I find this one a little bit more cohesive, a little bit more exciting. The shades are like different enough. There are no like repeats here, or like almost repeats, and I really like this color story. It's a little bit more unique, a little bit more exciting. So out of these two, I think this one is my favorite, but as I said, this is probably going to work nicer on like lighter skin tones in general. All in all, I think these palettes are brilliant and definitely worth the money. If you are new in makeup, these are going to like be amazing for you. They are so blendable that it's just crazy. So in my today's makeup, I was like literally applying eyeshadows as they went. I wasn't thinking about creating like something pretty or whatever. It was just to try these shades out, and still I really love both of these looks. So this is super simple. You don't even have to put much effort. This palette will literally almost do the blending for you. You just apply the shades where you want to have them, and the blending is just like amazing. So I can definitely recommend both of these palettes, obviously depending on what color story is more appealing to you, but I think they are just going to be amazing to work with. Okay guys, so this is everything from me today. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you tried these palettes and what you think about them. I would love to know that. Thank you once again for watching. For more makeup related content, check those videos over here, and I'm going to see you very soon. Take care, bye.